Israeli Arabs have equal rights. Full stop. My officer in the army is an Arab.
Okay.
So you sitting here. Now, what you're conflating is Palestinian territories.
Yeah.
So the West Bank, so disputed territories, and the Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
You probably remember a few weeks ago that I attended a massive rally against anti-Semitism outside the Victorian State Parliament in my capacity as a journalist for Rebel News. Now, what you didn't see is before the event officially began, I'd been interviewing the Jew-hating counter-protesters who were gathering when a man who also claimed to be covering the day introduced himself as a student journalist there to, just like me, do his job. And between the interviewing of the counter-protesters who got there nice and early to cause trouble and the start of the actual anti-Semitism rally, I decided to stop and have a break and pop into a local coffee shop where the same bloke walked up and asked for an interview with me.
What's up?
I'm not going to ask you about your question. I'm not coming here to say any statements about what you did or anything. But as a journalist to journalist, would you maybe be comfortable
Talking to you?
in any capacity?
Yeah.
A conversation?
I have no problem talking to you. I don't know why you come in defensively. It makes me think there's something I should.
I'm trying to be respectful. Because obviously, I think this is the approach I've been using with everyone recently. But
So what, are you in uni studying journalism or you're...
yeah.
Now, before I show you that revealing interview, I just want you to watch what I found online that this unbiased student journalist who claimed to have nothing to do with the anti-Israel protesters posted on his TikTok before approaching me that day in the cafe. Watch.
And nobody has the fucking balls to say it. It's World War III, yeah? It's a genocide! Millions of fucking people! Let's do something!
Kids, that there is the definition of unhinged, and I can only guess what he meant when he was rallying the troops to do something. I guess he meant pretend to be an unbiased journalist and politely try to trip up an evil genocidal Zionist. The only problem with his grand plan is that, like the vast majority of his comrades, he doesn't know the first thing about the conflict or his protest movement or even their chants.
Calling for freedom isn't calling for genocide.
Saying, okay, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free.
Yeah. So
What are they saying?
So, from my understanding, it's that in all of Israel and the occupied Palestinian territories, from in all of that land, it's a call for them to stop being persecuted and to stop the apartheid system.
So correct me if I'm wrong. So you're saying that what they're saying is, from the river to the sea, Palestinians will be free.
Yeah.
So why didn't they say that?
Because Palestine is their culture that they identify.
No, they don't say that because they're not talking about Palestinians. They're talking about the land. That's why. And if you know where that comes from, the chant is a Hamas chant. It comes from Hamas. Hamas is not talking about your Israeli Arab who ethnically is the same as the Palestinian Arab.
But those Arabs in Israel are currently second-class citizens because they're Muslim.
My officer, firstly, not all of them are Muslim, but my officer in the army was
Muslim?
Arab, a Christian, but my friend was a Muslim Arab. You don't know what you're talking about. You're buying into.
I'm trying to make that.
So what I'm saying to you is, a quarter of Israel is not Jewish. A quarter of Israel is not Jewish.
Yeah.
They are not second-class citizens. That is the biggest nonsense you'll ever hear. Go to Israel and see it for yourself. Go to the villages.
Are they second-class citizens in Palestine?
What do you mean? In the territories?
The argument is that both in the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, that Palestinians are under apartheid.
Okay, so again, so you've pivoted, right? So let's first come to let's clear the argument that Arabs that live in Israel, the 2 million, but there's no apartheid system in Israel proper. You can't argue that.
I disagree.
Okay, so
Just with the evidence. Do you want to see some sources?
Tell me in what? Give me an example.
Last night on Middle East Eye,
Yep.
which is a reputable independent journalism, they published that a Palestinian teacher in an Israeli classroom, it was footage of the kids that they published on Snapchat chanting, "Burn your village down."
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Okay. If that's true, that's horrible.
Yeah.
Okay. But one, how is that describing an apartheid system? That's not an apartheid system. That's poorly educated little racists. If that's true, right? I want to see what it is because I don't know what like you're telling me, but still, even if it's true what you're describing, that's not apartheid. Apartheid has a very specific meaning.
How would you define that?
Apartheid.
Yeah.
What's the definition of apartheid?
In your words.
No. What is the definition of apartheid? You're the one using it. You're claiming Israel's apartheid. No, but you're claiming Israel is apartheid. So can you define it?
See,
what's apartheid?
So in my mind, apartheid is a systematic separation, which comes in early with identification, dehumanization, and then alienation.
Systematically.
And I'm saying that the Israeli government, not Jewish, not Jews. I'm saying that the Israeli government
So what I'm saying to you is institutionalized racial segregation. That's what it is.
Yes.
So let's take your example because that's the example you gave me of apartheid.
Yeah.
How is that?
So can a Palestinian man?
So wait, are you talking about Israel or the Palestinian territories? So Israel proper? So Israel, we're 2 million out of the 8 million are Arabs.
Yeah.
How is it apartheid if they have equal rights?
They don't. That's
what
the
rights
argument.
don't they
That's
have?
the argument.
So what rights don't they have?
They don't have the right to own their own land because a
Rubbish.
settler
No.
will come in and take that property.
No, you're talking shit.
Am I?
Yes, Arabs own land. Like, Israeli Arabs have equal rights. Full stop. My officer in the army is an Arab.
Okay.
So you sitting here. Now, what you're conflating is Palestinian territories.
Yeah.
So the West Bank, so disputed territories.
Yeah.
And the Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
Gaza Strip is controlled by Hamas. It's ruled on its own. Now, that has there's the blockade from Israel side, Egypt side. That's something specific, but that's not apartheid. They rule their own thing. Then the West Bank.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is where you say when you look at non-citizens not getting equal rights to citizens. Well, obviously, show me one country where non-citizens have the same rights as citizens.
So
an apartheid system would be if they were in the one country and they based on racial reasons, racial identification, they were segregated or they were less than.
religious,
or
racial,
religion,
yeah.
doesn't matter either.
Yeah.
But that doesn't happen in Israel because you don't know what you're talking about. You need to you're repeating talking points.
I'm making the argument.
Okay, but your argument is based on a lie, Javier. It's based on a lie. 2 million Arabs in Israel share absolutely equal rights. You're conflating Palestinians from the West Bank, which are not citizens. Yeah. So you can't have. So educate yourself before you make that argument.
I'm trying to. That's why.
Yeah, no, you're not trying to educate yourself. You're trying to educate me on something that.
I'm really not. I'm asking you the questions. I hope you can.
No. I'm just.
I am trying to educate myself. I promise you.
So what
That's
I'm saying.
why I'm here talking to
So
people.
the first step is go and learn the difference between Israeli Arabs, which are ethnically Palestinian, and Palestinians living in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. Palestinians under either the Palestinian Authority on the West Bank and Palestinians under Hamas in the Gaza Strip.
Okay.
They are different
Yes.
to Israeli citizens, a quarter of the country, Israeli citizens that are Arabs, that share their same national identity, and at every poll that they've ever taken, they've all wanted to stay in Israel proper.
You do a fucking awesome job.
I've got to go.
Okay, just.
I hope for you that you educate yourself and you don't just repeat talking points.
Now that it's off, I promise you, I'm not trying to do that. I'm trying to. I know you're a strong voice on one side. I'm trying to make the other side's voice in a reasoned, compassionate. Like, I actually do want to hear you out.
No. I accept that. I'm frustrated when people who know nothing about it just repeat talking points. And trust me, there's a lot that you can criticize the Israeli government about. I've done it for years. You can, just like I criticize the Australian government. There's a difference between that and then just repeating absolute lies about the only real democracy in the Middle East. Anyways, I better run. If you agree that it's important for the world to see how ignorant the loudest voices often are, especially on this subject, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, share it far and wide. And then please head over to buildourstudio.com to help us cover the remaining costs of building this state-of-the-art studio I'm sitting in right now. There is so much more to come. This is just the beginning, but we can't do it without you. Buildourstudio.com. Help me cover the rest of the costs of building this, and I promise you to bring the content. Let's do this together. Buildourstudio.com.